get this. First poll is up. And as far as I'm aware, aside from a double check, I think we are go. I'll know in a second. Yep. Looks like we're live. We got it. Okay. Cool. Hey. As usual, give it a little time, let some people come in, see what's going on. And in terms of a channel update, which I usually like to do at the start of these, but there's not too much to really mention. I don't have any like major video projects that are coming out soon. I'm still editing the chapters for the live 8.2.25, which means I still have the 8.6.25 that I need to go through, the 8.12.25, and this will be the 8.20.25. So to say that I'm a little bit behind is a bit of an understatement. It has been tough lately to make sure that I get in and get all the editing done at the rate that I was getting it. But we're not falling too far behind. We'll figure it out as we go. What's going on? All right, we got the live chat. We got it up. We got the screen stuff happening. We got a vote, and we are underway. I don't know if there's anything that needs to be mentioned necessarily. Like I said, there's not much in terms of a channel update. I did, for the sake of, I did pick up the Storm Wolverine pack today, which, I'm going to be honest with you, I was half tempted to pass on. I really like that new body for the Wolverines, like the one they're using with the 97s. I skipped the brown suit for the Secret Wars, kind of crossing my fingers that we would get it for the 97, and we did. So that I kind of lucked out on that one. So I got that because I like he has those good butterflies and everything, and that's a really good Wolverine. I really like the 97 Wolverine, and I think I'm gonna like the brown suit 97 Wolverine just as much. And then I will of course get rid of the old one that's been sitting up there for a while. I don't need 100 Wolverines. There's no point to that to me. You know that if you've been here for a while. So I'll be getting rid of that Wolverine. I almost passed on it though, because while my favorite Storm is the original costume, basically swimsuit Storm, my second favorite Storm being Mohawk Storm, leather jacket. My issue is that I noticed instantly it is a lot of reuse. It is an old buck still. And like we just talked about this in the other one. Like in the last video. In the video that went up today, we just talked about this. And then there will be a chapter broken off from that video that will go up tomorrow that will just highlight that one specific part that we talked about. And it's an old body buck. Like, and it is getting old. Like, it's getting old to see them continually it's getting old to watch them continually reuse the stiff body female buck. I don't understand. Like, at this point, we should be moving forward. I don't get it, and I'm really getting to the point where I'm not tolerating it. I mean, just to put it out there, I did pass on the X-23. When they showed they were doing the X-23 for the X-Force figures, they were like, check it out, here you go. And I was like, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm willing to wait for that to come out again. There will be another X-23 It's a guarantee there will be another one, and they will fix the body. It's going to take time, but it'll happen, and I'm willing to wait for that. Storm, slightly different thing. I feel like there's a lot better chance of getting the white suit and a lot of other things before we ever get the original costume in a modern body book from Marvel Legends. Again. Ever. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the next time we see her, she's on a single card or something like that for a single release to, like, you know, some sort of Target exclusive or something. And you know what she'll be? She'll be the old body book again. It would not surprise me in the least. So that one, I kind of justified it. I don't think I'm going to wait for that one. I ordered that. So I do have those two coming. Hey, what's going on, man? But we'll see where we end up. So far, we're at 6 minutes, 2 votes. DC Multiverse is winning. And I just added, like, we just had something come in for that too. I did a short about it just to let everybody know. I'm trying to keep up with that. I'm trying to keep the shorts going to say, hey, this is added to the show. This, you know, things like that are small talking points. Okay, I like that movie a lot. I really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed it a lot. I've heard some people cry the common stupid cry that she didn't have the right body for it. First off, get over yourselves. You don't have the right body for it. She looked fantastic. I'm just going to give her that right off the bat. I can't say that this is a 100% perfectly accurate Red Sonja. That's fair. But here's the thing. The Michael Keaton Batman is not a perfectly accurate Batman. But it works. Let's be honest. The Conan the Barbarian that you see in the Conan the Barbarian movies, that is not an accurate Conan. But it works. There's just enough there. Just like this Red Sonja, there is just enough there for me to say, okay, I see where we're going. I think this will work. And the parts that are done well for just being a sword and sorcery movie are done very well. They don't overdo magic. That's a problem I have in some... Red Sonja books are actually famous for this. I love Conan the Barbarian and I love Red Sonja. But if I'm being very brutally honest here, more often than not, I feel Red Sonja loses her way than Conan loses his way. And I'm not talking about because her writing style changes. To me, okay, there's always an ambiguous nature or a less played up nature to the magic of the Conan universe. The Hyborian Age has magic. It has relics. It has mighty weapons. It has misunderstood technologies. It has all kinds of different things like that. And it does have magic. It has people that do great, tremendous magical feats. But never to the point of being overblown so that it's just blatantly magic. I know that's a little hard to understand if you don't read anything Conan. But it's true. There's even some of the most blatant magic is sometimes left to some kind of speculation as to what they're playing with. It's true that some guys can, like, summon monsters and do crazy crap like that. But it's not 100% at their whim or at their will either. We've seen in multiple Conan stories where the same guy that summons a creature, that creature is a threat to him. We've watched that. They don't have full control of it. It doesn't work like that. You normally don't see, like, guys that are, like, shooting lightning out of their hands and everything, and Conan has to, like, dodge it. I'm not saying it's never happened, but it's not played up like that. And Red Sonja has more instances of magic being played as blatant magic. It's a thing. where Conan has less instances of magic really being played out as hardcore, blatant D&D magic. It's not the same argument. This movie keeps it enough to where there's magic stuff happening, but one could argue that some of it is very much like science that one does not understand. And it works well. The movie does a good job of skating that line. The movie does a good job of keeping to more of the darker roots. They did change Sonya's origin. But, here's the issue. They have changed Sonya's origin multiple times in the comics as well. I know some people that are crying, that's not her background. Her background is that she was violated, blah, blah, blah. That's one Red Sonja. That's not all Red Sonjas. That background and that origin is not always the case. It has been altered multiple times in the comic books. So having them alter it here does not bother me. As long as they get the beats right, as long as the attitude is right, as long as the sword and sorcery setting is right, as long as they give me enough to chew on and keep it dark. That's a key here. This is not Lord of the Rings. Okay? The Hyborian Age is not Lord of the Rings. It's not the same thing. Lord of the Rings is a high fantasy. This is a low fantasy or dark fantasy. It's got more of an edge to it. The universe that you're talking about in things like Red Sonja and Conan the Barbarian, it's darker, it has an edge, it's out to get you, everybody's living hard, that's the way that it is. And you see that in this movie. You see sprawling kingdoms, but you see the mistreatment of man in general. You see that she stands against that, but she very much has her own morals and standings within this world, within this society. It works for me. Like, I enjoyed this quite a bit. I'm trying not to give too much away, but I really liked that they took just enough elements from Queen of Plagues, but then they didn't play up certain elements from Queen of Plagues, and they left certain things alone. Because if I'm being perfectly honest, the Queen of Plagues book, the storyline, there are things I like in that book. And then there are just as many things I did not like in that book. It's just the way that it is. Like, I read it and I was like, this is really good in certain parts. And then there were other parts that I was like, okay, I'm not really 100% on board this storyline. That happens with a lot of stories, so I'm not too worried about it. And this one really did a good job of taking from a bunch of different ideas and playing a bunch of different kind of amalgamation of Red Sonja ideas in one story and doing it pretty well. I think she rocked it. I think the action is decent. I like that she's not unbeatable. It plays more towards the original kind of Red Sonja, where she would get, like, if you read the original Red Sonja books, if you read the original Conan books, it was a man and a woman, and while she was definitely more skilled and stronger than the average woman, she was a woman, and that was still a cornerstone. And if she took a hard hit on the head, she was going down. If she got stabbed, she was getting stabbed. Things like that. This movie does a good job of playing those angles, keeping their characters vulnerable but strong, and I like that. That's the way I like my Batman as well. I get really tired of the cliche because he's Batman. I can't stand that. I can't. I need my Batman to be a man that is facing impossible odds, that is willing to walk through those odds, not necessarily that he can even accomplish them. That's where I stand with that kind of stuff. And that's the reason I migrate towards Conan the way that I do, because that's pretty much always the case. And this movie does a good job of that. If you know Queen of Plagues, you'll know the parts that they took and you'll like it. If you know the Queen Sonya stuff that went down, you'll see parts of that in here and you'll like it. You'll enjoy the sword fighting for what it is. And yeah, it's not a Lord of the Rings budget movie, okay? But come on. I've seen people that are saying things like, "Oh, well, it's a shame that this didn't have like a full Hollywood budget, blah blah blah. You can really tell at certain points and all this other crap." First off, calm down. Like, not every movie needs to fit the standard of being a Disney film. Okay? Disney has the kind of money that other film associations don't have. You can do certain things that you can't do. They knew they were limited, so they spent the money where it made sense. And I appreciate that. It works very well. If you haven't seen it and you want just a really good sword and sorcery movie, I'm not going to tell you that this is ever going to take and be the definitive Red Sonja. I don't think it is. I think the books will, of course, have it beat. You get the idea. What I'm saying is I don't believe this movie is going to cause waves where this Sonya is basically what's going to end up in the comic books. It's not going to be like that. We have seen that in other movies and television shows where, like, the ideas and kind of the look and design of that kind of bleeds into the comics. I don't think that's going to happen here. But I think that it's going to be done. I think that it's going to be a very solid Red Sonja movie. And all in all, that's what they need. That's exactly what they need. And the reason I'm telling you that is because just like Conan needed that one movie to get out there and get noticed, he got it. It's not anybody that's reading Robert E. Howard, anybody that's reading the original Marvel Years books, anybody that's reading the Titan books will tell you that is not Conan the Barbarian. It's not. But did it get it out there? Did it do a decent swords and sorcery movie at a time when it was really needed and push him to the forefront and get it noticed and build that? Yes, they did. Just like Batman, just like with Michael Keaton, Batman pushed the idea of Batman being a viable form of entertainment for all people, not just comic book nerds. This Red Sonja is on track to possibly be that. And Red Sonja needs that. And I think that's very, very, very good. Like, I think that's a tremendously good thing. And I think only good things will come of it. So that's where I sit with the Red Sonja movie. I think we're on track. We just go from here, and especially if they expand off this as a base and then play into more Robert E. Howard, Roy Thomas stuff, then we'll be off to the races. I don't think this is going to become the next wave of the next wave. Like right now we're in like a superhero bubble. It's just kind of on the out. We see it dying down. I'm not saying it's going to die, but it's having troubles now. I don't think we're going to see a great resurgence of barbarians come into films and things like that, just like I don't think Westerns are coming back anytime soon. But that's what I'm saying is this is good enough that it could at least make waves to get people's attention, and it needs it. Red Sonja needs it, to be fair. Let me set this up real quick because DC1, which leaves us with... Let me move my mic. It's in my way. Really? Okay. There. Alright, let's see. The Dolph isn't exactly He-Man. The Dolph, I don't think, did a lot of favors for He-Man. I've heard people claim that it was like one of their favorite movies when they were growing up or whatever, but like, I don't think the Dolph did a lot of favors for He-Man, in all honesty. Do you think you've been spoiled with the new Buck sculpture of Frazetta icons with barbarian aesthetic? I was almost scratching my head on why you'd entertain a Super 7 body afterwards. So here's the thing. All figures are different. I'm not the kind of person that like goes into one toy line and then decides that is the definitive. I don't do it. In terms of the Super 7 though, when I did cover Conan, I talked about him and he's actually sitting on my desk. So I am okay with this figure for what it is. And I talked about my gripes with it. If you give me a figure, a barbarian figure, this is one of my last choices. Because this is claiming to be modern articulation. Super 7 kind of has this dive where they pass themselves off as being like modern figures. They're not. This is like DC Classics. This is like Motu Classics. And that's where this era of figure belongs. That's as good as it is. I've often said, and I still stick by this, Super 7 is overpriced. For what they are selling, it is overpriced. And it has given me many problems. And I don't think that I would go out of my way to pick up a bunch of Super 7s at all. If you show me, if there's a whole new wave of barbarian figures and this is their bodies, I will pass on most all of them. Every now and then something will catch my attention, I'm sure, and I'll go, that's a really cool barbarian concept. Yeah, it's old, it's outdated, but I could really make use of that. I really think that'd be cool, it'd be great on my shelf. I'm not saying that won't happen, but just like I passed on Tila, there comes a point when an older buck is an older buck. Just like recently, I just talked about it, I passed on the X-23 they released for the X Factor group because an older buck is an older buck. And while I'm willing to do that for some things, I'm not willing to do it for most other things. I'm just not. At all. Yeah. So it's not that I'm entertaining Super 7. I'm not even going out of my way to buy a bunch of them. I got that Conan because it is Conan. And because I was curious. That's pretty much the end of it, in all honesty. To think that I'll go too much further from there, I don't think I will. Maybe on some sales when their stuff comes down enough that I could get a hold of like a couple more movie guys, but even then that's going to be very slim pickings. It's just I can't even say that I'm spoiled yet because in all honesty I would still argue that the Frazetta icons in some cases are a little behind the time. I think that some of their body features leave room for desire. And we'll talk about those as we open them sometimes. And in terms of okay, Thor, I know what you're referring to. When I said that some of the magic is arguably science that we wouldn't understand, that is blatantly written into Conan as a property. Like, it is blatantly written into Conan as a property when, like, okay, there's like the Jade City where the guy has the metal, the little orb thing, and it shoots like a laser beam, like a very sophisticated laser, but it only shoots it in a straight line connected to another piece of metal. It's not magic. There's some sort of science taking place, a relic left behind by an alien race, because that's another thing too. Yog Kasha, the elephant head man, that dude is not a god. He's an alien from a race of aliens that was here in Tower of the Elephant that was discovered by Conan and you learn an entire history about aliens that existed on the planet, and they did leave behind a lot of things, relics and items that are not magic, they're science. So that's what I was getting at when I said that, and that is written into the very fabric of Conan the Barbarian. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed your time with the movie, Bill. Too many people hyper-focus on the bodies of the actress versus the accuracy of the character and body appearance. Yeah, I think it gets a little ridiculous. And the trailer, I like the movie a lot. If you have a chance to see it and you like swords and sorcery in general, I really think you'll enjoy it just for what it is. If you're not going in there ridiculous anyway. Just asking for fun, Barbarian Bros, figures from the Barbarians, great 80s cheese. I also wanted to hear your thoughts on the Invincible Iron Man 2-pack, mostly about the Mandalorian look they chose to go with. Well, let's see it. Because I was unaware that this was even about to be a thing. Oh, that must be it. No, that's Toy Biz. That's years ago. You're saying that there's a Marvel Legends... So I have not seen it yet. I'm not sure 100%... I'm not going to look too crazy for it right now, but yeah, I haven't even seen it yet. Invincible Iron Man 2-pack. That's interesting. Let me see if I can't. That must be it right there. It says it's 2 days ago. It's on Marvel News. Let's click this and see it. Oh. Okay. Well, this site wants to give me a lot of bullcrap. So, let's fix this real quick. And then let's turn that on. And we'll look at this. So I haven't seen this yet. This is kind of the Iron Man that I have. Like the only one that I ever chose to buy. Would I buy another one? No, I definitely would not. Oh my God. That's... To say that I keep up with the comics in terms of Iron Man would be a lie. I do not. What is this? Like... That's the Mandarin? I mean, okay. Wow. It does not impress me. At all. Like, at all. And not that it ever necessarily had a great chance to do so, because I'm not a huge Iron Man fan, but, like, I'm really not a fan of that. Like, that's not blowing my mind at all. I wouldn't really care about going out of my way to have either one of them. I feel like the Iron Man I have on my shelf, the one right there, I feel like I like him better than what I was seeing. And I feel like if that's the Mandarin as he exists in whatever continuity, he's just some boring businessman. Like, it does very little to nothing for me. Did you hear that Spider-Man and Punisher are teaming up in the MCU Spider-Man movie? I did not know that. That's very interesting because I don't know how they would team up exactly, because I know it's not that it doesn't happen sometimes. Like, Spider-Man is not okay with how the Punisher operates. Like, he's not okay with it. Spider-Man is getting a 4K... sorry, The Mask. I don't know why I said that. The Mask is getting a 4K Arrow... Dang it. Oh my gosh. I apologize. Let me get my bearings here at the end of the night. The Mask is getting a 4K from Arrow Video. Hurrah. That's actually pretty cool. I don't know if I would go out of my way to buy it. I'm pretty happy with my Blu-ray, but it is cool to see that it's getting treatment. Thoughts on the third-party half-jade Scar figure? I'm not sure what that is. Man, you guys are bringing up a lot of figures that I don't know tonight. Like, what's going on? Oh, never mind. I do know what this is. This is the guy that's basically like... He's basically the Hulk. I mean, yeah, he's basically like the World War Hulk or whatever, but they're calling him Jade Scar. So he looks good. Anybody that wants to go get one can get a big green Hulk warrior barbarian-esque type of figure. But in the end, if I'm being perfectly honest, I kind of stay away from these like third-party ripping off actual IP creators for the most part. Like, that's going to be cool for somebody, I'm sure, but like I don't think I'd put any money towards it, in all honesty. But I have a Hulk I'm happy with, and now I get to be one of those people that goes, you know, I get to be one of those people that like goes, oh well, there's no reason to upgrade for me. I get to be that person now. Because it's going to be a while before they release a Hulk that really makes me buy another. Because I'm not a huge Hulk fan. I just wanted a Hulk, and I got it. So it's going to really take something crazy now, third party or direct party, to ever get my attention to make me buy another one. It's going to be a really, really tough sell. Wonder Woman has won. Anyone excited for the new Toxic Avenger? I hope it's good. I hope it's good. But I'm also not married to that property. So, like, if it's a good movie in general, I will like it. And if there's a bunch of problems with it that, like, fans point out, that will be their problem, because I will have no bearing on that. Like, I always thought it was kind of a goofy, ridiculous movie to begin with, like a schlock film that I watched on, like cable TV a couple times. And that was about the most I ever got out of it. I was not a huge Toxic Avenger fan. I took it for what it was. A schlocky B movie. I think that was from an animated movie. And I think you're right. Apparently it's the Mandarin when he was old and when he got injected with the Extremis virus and became young again. Cool for him. He also had the 10 rings embedded into his spine in his old form. Don't know how he got them back onto his fingers again. Seems the Hulk is the new Spider-Man. It seems the Hulk is in the new Spider-Man movie. Now that I could see. Hey, what's up? I can't remember Hulk's son's name. That's not information that I know. Hulk is in the new Spider-Man movie. Spoilers, open scene. Hulk is in the new Spider-Man movie. Spoiler, open scene is Spider-Man and Punisher fighting Scorpion. Interesting. I mean, at this point, I'm just going to say it, they're going to have no choice but to open the Marvel Universe up. Like, even still now, the Marvel Universe has been kind of playing around with, like, we know all the heroes are there. But, like, the Iron Man movie is an Iron Man movie. You get the idea? A Captain America movie is basically a Captain America movie. And they're not really opening up that universe to show what's going on. Superman kind of laid a gauntlet down on this one. They said, this is a Superman movie. The story is about him, but this is in the DC universe, and they're all here. And, like, that little introduction, that idea, kind of puts a hammer down on Marvel, and it's a dangerous one, because Marvel gets really big actors, gets them in, and keeps them hard in place. And it makes it very difficult for them to bring actors into other situations. Like, it's really hard for them to be like, well, this movie's going to have Captain America and this guy, and we're going to put him in, but it's just going to be Captain America's movie, but these other 4 guys are going to show up for whatever reason. They're going to be pretty consistent in the story, but it's not going to be their story. That's very hard to do when you've got to pay those actors the prices that you have to pay them because of what they demand. And now, as these universes, we understand they are big open universes, and every time you see a situation going down, like, I did not dislike that Captain America movie. I liked it for what it's worth. I honestly did. I'm being 100% real. I liked that movie. I did. I had no real problems with it. Except one. The President of the United States turned into a Hulk on national television. Coverage across the frickin' globe, basically. And started tearing up the White House and then the city. Where is everybody? Where? And I get where they are. You could say, well, most of the heroes are in New York. I don't care. You're talking about a universe with teleportation technology, with magic, with jets that go faster than the speed of freaking sound. Like, nobody was anywhere in any form of reach. They were the only guy you had. You see my issue? Like, that's true for all comic books and everything. We suspend our disbelief. But, like, you didn't see that in this current Superman movie. You saw a DC universe that is ripe with DC characters because they're there. The story mostly involves the guy that it involves, but it doesn't discount the fact that other heroes are running around. And I think that's going to become something that Marvel is going to have to deal with if DC maintains this concept. And there's your answer for that. Let's do it. First appearance, Wonder Woman. Here's the thing. I have something to say about her. This all, so far, looks good. I don't have anything to say in first appearance. Like, I'm looking, first instinct here. As far as I can tell, everything looks right. But is this a missed opportunity? Did he think it wouldn't sell? Here's what I'm saying. He released a first appearance Wonder Woman with a comic. With a Wonder Woman issue 1. There it is. Of course, it's a reprint. Are we seeing something about this? Are we seeing it? Are we seeing this right here? Are we all seeing this? Are we seeing the lasso, the horse, Wonder Woman? This looks like it comes with Wonder Woman. And that is it. I don't hate this. This does look like a good figure. And I'm not crying about the lasso not being in there necessarily. It's something to point out. It's something to mention because, hey, that's part of what we're doing here. We're opening figures and we're talking about figures. And when we talk about figures, we got to talk about some of the things that feel like they're missing. And yes, the lasso is not there. This Wonder Woman should have a lasso. This Wonder Woman was Was this like the $30 figure? At $30, they couldn't put in a little gold string? Or could you have given me what you're doing for the Mortal Kombat figures? Because I was wrong. I'm glad to be wrong. I was wrong about one thing. The Scorpion doesn't just come with like a little string on a dart. It is a bendy wire. It does hold its form. You can do things like put his hand out and then make it actually look like it's being thrown, and it'll keep that. It's wire. Wire whip? Wire lasso? Like that holds its form? That we can roll it up and put it on the hip? Or we can literally take it from her hand and have her like doing something where she's pulling it back and it's kind of like going around her body and whatnot and coming out and like just about to like come out and fly. Like, no, because that would have been cool. Would have been a cool idea. And I have to say, horse? I know this is a weird thing, and it's not even a gripe. It just seems you just did 2 Spawn characters back to back using horses. You have a horse in your line. You made the horse. You released it with the Batman Dark Knight Returns stuff. You could build the horse. Wouldn't it have been really cool to see a special? Didn't you just do Tex or whatever? Jonah Hex? Didn't you do Jonah Hex with the horse? Because I think they did. Wonder Woman, lasso, horse. Am I the only one that would have paid for a deluxe here? Is it just me? Because I know he has this idea that, like, the female figures don't sell. I don't know why he thinks that, because it always seems like they're sold out. But maybe he's thinking about Fire, because Fire is trash, and it was never going to sell anyway. But, like, I don't know. It really makes me wonder, I'm really serious here, if there was any thought about that at all. Think about Wonder Woman, lasso, horse, comic, 1 pack, a bigger pack. Don't use this stupid. I really dislike these big clamshells. But, like, why not? I would have paid for that deluxe, personally. But I'm willing to admit that I may have been one of the few. I'm willing to say that's true. But it does seem weird. It just seems like an absolute perfect opportunity to just like, hey, let's just recreate the cover. You have the horse, you could have painted it white. Like, or cast it in white plastic or whatever you gotta do. Like, it seems like a missed opportunity. Mildly. Maybe not to everybody, but it caught my attention that something felt missing. Let's open up Wonder Woman. Okay, so, a couple of things. One, okay? One thing. She comes with 2 expression hands. We'll look at the figure here real soon. Don't get me wrong. 2 expression hands. Those are fine. And I'm already seeing it in the chat, so you know what I'm about to bring up. She has punching hand. She has punching hand. She has trigger finger hands. Why does she have gun hands? Like, I would really like to understand the train of thought that was running when you were picking hands. And for that matter, can you not design just a gripping hand? Like, has the line not been around long enough to have even one female set of gripping hands? Just a normal gripping hand, so that they can hold like bow staves, so they can hold the lasso, so like just why the gun hands for Wonder Woman, whose one of her main attributes is to stop bullets with unbelievable accuracy with the wrists. Look at that. Look at that. Does that not look weird? That she has the... What is that? Why is that? We're changing that. Like, something about it really bothers me. I don't even want that hand on my Wonder Woman. In fact, I'm going to go out of my way. I'm probably going to try to heat that up, pull it, and like push it down and see if I can get it to stay and create a gripping hand. I have no idea why he is absolutely dead set on giving trigger finger hands. And it's not just him. This is a problem with the industry, because you see it in a lot of Star Wars stuff too. In the Black Series, they keep releasing like Jedis with trigger finger hands. Stop it. Stop selling Batman with trigger finger hands. Stop selling Jedi with trigger finger hands. It's weird. Like, just sculpt another set. You know you're going to make 400 characters. Just sculpt another set, please. Please. It's weird. Let's talk about the Wonder Woman, though, because she's the star of the show. Let's test something mild. This is her, okay? We agree on this. So what we are going to do is we're going to bring this hand over here like this. We're going to bring this one up and over like this. And we're going to see if we can get this knee up. Can we do it? How resistant is this? I'm not saying this is perfect. I'm saying the skirt is kind of in the way. You really got to push up on it. But, like, did we kind of get it? I'm not trying to be, like, super perfect here. I'm just seeing if we can even mildly get it. The leg, this is in the way. It's not going to go up. Like, I'm pushing the crap out of it right now. It's not going to happen. So, the skirt. A big question some people were having, is the skirt going to be in the way? Yes. For what it's worth, the skirt will be in your way. You could probably... it'd probably be tough. I wonder if you could cut the skirt off. This is the amount of give in it, and this is like a full diaper piece, so you're not going to be able to really like get rid of it necessarily. But if you wanted to cut it and then put, make a soft goods, the rest of her articulation seems very much on point with other things in the line, as you can see. If it wasn't for the skirt stopping it, you could probably even get more leg movement out of it. So And maybe after you play with it long enough and you heat it up, maybe even, this is a small argument, maybe even go in and make a cut. Like go along this seam right here. There's a seam right here. Maybe if you took and you cut right along here and you just cut that part so that it opened, right? And then maybe cut that right there the same. Maybe you could create enough give in the skirt that it wouldn't stop the legs because it would allow the skirt to move. Of course, then you would have the broken on the sides on the skirt, and you would have to deal with that idea. I'm just giving some small possibilities here. But overall, what I'm seeing, can you look up? Is your hair in the way? Kind of in the way. It's not too terrible. You can kind of work with it. As you see, if I let it go, it'll push your head back down because it's female hair, it's in the way. This is more malleable than what we get with like a Marvel Legends. I'm going to give him that. She will look down. She has decent enough mid-torso movement. Like, it's not the best we've ever seen ever, but it's fine. It almost feels like there's a little bit of being stopped this, which is possible because this little white piece of the belt right here comes up, and it may actually stop her from going too far forward. But this is also an old concept figure. It is a first appearance. I'm not saying it couldn't have been better. I'm saying that for what it tries to accomplish, kind of looking like an old character, it is doing that. There's some really good texture on the boots, which I'm kind of impressed about. Like, it really does work. And I like it. The face. I've heard some people complaining about the face. I notice if I cover my face up, the figures actually get some spotlight. The camera will focus on them. I like her face. I've heard people complain that the face is wrong, that it's like bad. I think people are being way too overly critical. See that? Do you see what Wonder Woman used to look like? Because, like, take a look. That's it. I mean, what else were you looking for here? You don't think that looks decent? Like, they took this 2D image and they made a face. I've heard people say things which are incredibly, like, I find that to be wrong. I've heard some people say things like, I heard one guy specifically say that it looks like she was beaten with the ugly stick. No. I think that Wonder Woman looked different than your concept of Wonder Woman looks today. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying that Wonder Woman has changed over the years, and this Wonder Woman probably is not what you wanted. You wanted the Wonder Woman that you see in your mind. This is what she is. This is what she is. This is what she was. I think they did a good job here. I'm not complaining. I've said a couple minor things that I think that they could fix. But her arm has all the movement that we've expected from the entire line. It's a Todd McFarlane figure. It has all the articulation that you've come to expect from Todd McFarlane figures. The legs are a little bit hindered, and I imagine she has some stand ground here. I'll put her on the table here and see if I can get her to stand. Oh, well, I know you can't see, but she's standing up. Like, that was very simple. I put her right down. She stood right up. No problem at all. And that's without this stand. Her stand gets the little DC thing. It's kind of cool. I like her. I really do. I think these are loose. I just moved it. So these are loose. You could pop these off and take these off if you really wanted to for whatever reason. And that would be fine. Maybe you have like different gauntlets that you'd like to put. If you want to use this as a base to build something else, you could do that. I like this. It's very old timely. It's very cool. I also think, because I heard a couple people complaining about this, because you know we did. We heard people complaining so far about the about these, and they're not being big enough. They're fine. You're talking about a very old comic book, guys. Like, they're fine. She looks fine. I think this works. I think she looks very good. In fact, she will be replacing an old figure I have. I have an old Wonder Woman on the shelf that has been on the shelf for a very long time. Like a ridiculously long time. This is from a reactivated line. And this is a very old Wonder Woman figure that I've held on to for a long time. Like, a long time. Come on, focus on this Wonder Woman. Now I can't get it to happen. No, come on, work! Now I can't get it to do it. You see me do it earlier, whatever. This one is done. This one never moved quite well. It was never a really good figure. It always had like a funny body look to it. I never really cared too much for the face necessarily. It's an older figure, and it worked for what it was. And I kind of used it as my stand-in for first appearance Wonder Woman. Now I have a first appearance Wonder Woman that actually looks better, quite substantially better. And because of this, when I take her off the shelf, I'm going to take this lasso and I'm going to give it to her. Simple. Simple. I'll get rid of something from the shelf that no longer really serves a purpose for me. I'll get a new Wonder Woman. I can get the lasso because I've got one. I've got like 5 or 6 of them, to be fair. And there we go. I like her. I don't really have anything bad to say about her right now. I think that I think some people are complaining for the sake of complaining, and that's what they're doing. So I now have a fairly classic Batman, a super classic Superman, because I have a 40s Superman, and I have a first appearance Batman, I have a classic Batman, I have a first appearance Wonder Woman. I do not have the Wonder Woman that I want, but that is what it is. And I do not have a first appearance Superman, but I have a 40s Superman. I basically have a decent level trinity that I can put together. The first one on the shelf from the McFarlane line. Because I have not bought a Wonder Woman from McFarlane except for the Flashpoint Wonder Woman. I got that on sale, and I knew when I bought her that she was never actually going to stand in for any of my Wonder Woman stuff. But this is finally the first Wonder Woman I've been able to get my hands on from his line. And I like it, honestly. I think it does exactly what it promises. It's a first appearance Wonder Woman. I'm sold. Let's see. Here to party. Brave New World was butchered by Disney and Marvel Studios. There was so much they had written. The Serpent Society leader had a more accurate comic book design. There was a lot of fat cut out from the movie, which is, I'd say, kind of regular for, movies in general. We're kind of getting used to that idea. Almost all movies kind of go through that. I'm not justifying them one way or another. I'm just kind of saying in general that we can almost expect a lot of stuff to be missing from movies. That being said, with me not knowing that information that you just gave me, that's the reason I don't think that movie bothers me. Like, I watched it and I said, I kind of like it. And then I moved on with my life. But I don't know. I think it's because of how far we've come in all the comic book movie stuff and where we see it kind of starting to drag and where it is starting to take hits. I think at this point, and especially with my history, guys, you talk about bad comic book movies. I'm assuming a little bit right now, because I do notice there are quite a bit of people that show up that are younger audience, like in their 20s. Guys, when you talk about having bad comic book movies, you don't even know the meaning of it. I had Elektra. I had Steel. I lived through Superman 4. Like, you guys, I saw a lot of people that got to grow up with things like Smallville, Arrow, Flash. I had the New Adventures of Superboy. And the Dean Cain Superman. Or the reruns of the original Superman and stuff like that. Like, and I'm not saying that that was a bad show. I'm saying that comparatively to what they can do today, even a good portion of the bad Marvel movies, like the ones that kind of really stand out as being bad, don't even hold a candle. They don't even hold a candle. My best superhero movie growing up, and still kind of is today, was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Kids that grew up with Marvel, because it's like a 20-year-long thing now. Kids that grew up with Marvel got to see good movie after good movie after good movie after good movie after good movie, and got to say, yeah, that one kind of sucked. Guys, I went Ninja Turtles 1, Ninja Turtles 2, and Ninja Turtles 3. It takes a lot of bad movie to put me off at this point. I'm just kind of happy that the movie works in its own context at this point, and I'm like, it wasn't bad. Like I'm not nearly as judgmental with superhero movies, in most superhero movies, as I think some other people are, in all honesty. So let's do... There's that. We'll do that. We'll do this. And just because... There, we'll run that as the next poll. Let's see what's going on here. Bill has been waiting for you. Dude, that's... I know what you're referencing, but, like, I really have, man. I really, 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 really wish I could have got that Wonder Woman. You know the one I mean. Like the one they just decided to release as a bronze statue. You finally decided to reuse that buck, and you put it out as the stupid bronze statue. The best I can do with that is buy it and, like, claim it's a statue on Themyscira when I take a couple pictures. Like, that's the best I could do if I wanted that particular body sculpt. Like, that is the best Wonder Woman buck, the best figure he has released, and he refuses to use it again. He won't do a second run, and he's running out of time. There's a reason I'm harping on this. He is running out of time to give people a second chance at that figure. And it's starting to look like there's not going to be one. I may just either have to bite the bullet and deal with the fact that I will never have one, because I will not pay that scalper price. She is not worth $120. I don't care. I don't care how much I want her. No. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and say, she's not for me, and wait. And hopefully, Mattel does not screw up this coming line. Like, I have my worries, is what I'm telling you. Especially after seeing how they are downgrading and crapping on the Masterverse line in real time. That really worries me. Dude, her horse would be amazing. If you gave it a lick, it would taste just like raisins. Don't worry, Bill. You'll get your horse. This damn door. Yeah, I'm not saying she shouldn't have come without. Like, she should have come with a lasso. I'm not saying she shouldn't have. But, like, I can recover from it. But I do reference you right back to the videos that I've done before. I have a video that specifically states every figure is somebody's first figure and should come with the basics of that figure. And the basics, something very simple that would have taken absolutely no effort whatsoever, is a string. A gold string. That was a gun hand. Did she fly at the time? I do not believe so. I remember she had the jet, but I don't believe she was given the power to fly yet. I think that was too early in the original first Wonder Woman book. I've read that book and I can't remember it. That kind of blows my mind. Yes. Spawn is getting a 4K. That would be cool. I really liked that movie. I really did. I also liked that anime, to be fair. That animated, I call it an anime. It was an animation. The 90s was not very kind to live-action DC TV shows. That being said, I grew up with my Smallville. It was one of my connections into the Superman mythos. Right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy is getting a 4K from Arrow Video, better than the Blu-ray that came out. That would be good, because the Blu-ray that came out for Turtles, and I have it and I watch it, it doesn't bother me that bad, but it's grainy. Like, it's a really grainy film, and on Blu-ray it's highly noticeable, and it does kind of bug me. So I'm really hoping they can kind of fix some of the sounds and the grain and whatnot with a 4K remastery. That would be beautiful. I saw Elektra one time, and I don't remember much about it. Good. Be happy about that, because you don't want to remember that movie. A new Spawn animated show would be awesome, or a continuation of the original. Yeah, it would. It would definitely be. Like, I really liked that animation. I remember really liking that animation. I bought it from like a rental video store. That's how I first discovered it. Is I knew about the Spawn movie but didn't know about the Spawn animation, and then found it one time when they were clearing out a rental shop, like a video rental store, and then I seen it and I was like, what is that? And I bought it, just oh, cool, like a cartoon Spawn or whatever. And then I started watching that, and was like, holy crap. Like, this is not what I was expecting. Especially because superheroes did not get that treatment back then. That super serious treatment, it was not a thing. New Spawn animated series would be amazing. Unfortunately, Todd is going to be Todd, and has been saying he's going to do a new one. Yes. He said a long time ago, like you said, all the way back in 2014, that a second Spawn movie was in the works, but it was on Hollywood time. And I don't know what the crap that meant, but Hollywood time must be real, because it is taking minutes. Looks like, so far anyway, that Marvel Legends is probably going to win this one. We're at 6 minutes, 5 votes. I was a kid when I saw Spawn animated series, and I was like, oh, yes. I know. Because I'm pretty sure I was a little younger than I was supposed to be as well. And yeah, that one caught me by surprise. There we go. I had to fix camera. Let's see. Put this there. Let me look at this real quick. Oh, nope. Screwed up. There we go. Okay, so it says that we're at 6 viewers. I'm just going to take that as a truth, and we're going to claim that it's right, and we're going to call this, and Marvel Legends is going to win. So that puts us... Let's move that. There. We have Oh, that has already been done. There we go. There's that one. That needs to be fixed. Oh, okay. There. That is what's currently sitting there. And then that takes us down. Okay, I see where I am now with all that. Let's see. I used to watch it late at night when it came on. It really had such a dark and eerie tone, spooky atmosphere. They don't make those like they used to. Not often they don't. That's for sure. You've got to go looking for that kind of stuff. Like, to see things that are on a level, like, with, like, gore and stuff like that on a heavy metal type of level, you've got to go out of your way to find it anymore. It is not a regular occurrence at all. Really? That blew up fast. 3 votes all for Spiral right off the bat? Okay, that's interesting. I've heard she's a good figure. Like, everybody that I've ever seen that has got the chance to open one has told me that she's a really good figure. But I don't actually know. I've never had one. I don't know who that is, but I'm voting for it. I'm not going to claim to have a huge knowledge of who it is, but I know who it is. I mean, when you get what I'm saying. Got to stay on that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 hype. And that's a true statement, too, because that's the shelf she's going on. That's kind of what I'm starting right back there, is the makeshift, it's still massively under construction, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 shelf. Which will be consistent all of Marvel characters, because the Street Fighter have their own shelf. But we'll see. In terms of photography stuff, though, we might get a couple of shots of like a Marvel vs. Capcom battle or whatever. 4 votes, Spiral. What are we looking at here right now? It says that we're at 7 current viewers. If we're at 7 current viewers, and I know that that's not necessarily reliable, 4 votes, all Spiral, even the 3 wouldn't make a difference at that point. We're 2 minutes in. We're only going to give this one to 5 minutes. Spiral, if I believe, is from Mojo World and is his personal assassin. When she dances, she can teleport. Yes. Yeah, you pretty much just, yep. That's what I know about her. I know that she's from Mojo World. I know that she works directly for Mojo. I know she's highly dangerous. And I don't really know an exact readout of her powers, but I remember that she would teleport, if I remember right. Like I remember it in the books. What animated Marvel series did you enjoy growing up? Spider-Man. Yep. Spider-Man. I mean, that's a loaded question, but if I have to pick one that stuck with me forever, it was that Spider-Man series. But I like Spider-Man. I liked the X-Men at that time. I remember watching some of the Fantastic Four and enjoying it for what it was. I got a little older and they did that Mighty Avengers, and I remember being... not like it was one of my favorites by a long shot, but I enjoyed it. But like when I was growing up, the Marvel series did not hold a candle to the DC series. I mean, we went from Batman to Superman, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited. We had Static Shock. Like, it was just like one series after another, all building on this one major universe. Like, and it was so well done. Like, it was unbelievably well done. Such huge memories of coming home and watching those. I don't have that with Marvel. Spider-Man and X-Men is literally it. Everything else that I watched from Marvel, especially around that era, was just kind of like I watched it and went, okay. And then I moved on with my life. It didn't like stick with me. It wasn't like a big thing for me. Thor helmet Shiva. Yes, that's the one. Yes. It's Spider-Man, X-Men, Hulk, Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, and Batman Beyond for me. I can hear all of those familiar intros in my head now. And Zeta Project, someone has to mention it. Dude, that almost feels, I mean, it's not, but it almost feels like a deep dive. Oh yeah, she won hands down. And she's got them too. I don't even know how long we've had this. Like, let's do it. Spiral. Finally. So, for anybody that happens to come across this when it's a chapter or the live, and you're new here, my show works by an accumulation of figures over time. And when we hang out and we talk about toys and fandom and subjects, we vote on what figure gets opened. Every now and then, I will go out of my way to do a singular open where I will just decide that this figure has to be opened, and I open in a single video. But because of the way that the show works, every now and then, I get a figure, and it never gets voted on. It depends on who shows up, how many people show up, and what they want to see. If I got a lot of DC fans that night, DC wins vote after vote after vote after vote, and that's all we talk about for an entire live. It has happened. We've talked all Marvel Legends for an entire live. It's happened. I got her a while ago. And because there were so many other things to open, so many things to photograph, so many things to talk about, and she never won a vote, she has sat over here for a long time. Like a ridiculously long time. To the point where I know I picked her up a long time ago. I can't tell you when. Like, I don't remember. It's that long ago. I know it was after everybody else already had her. And the reason I know that is because I remember seeing a bunch of people that opened her, and we're talking about how the arms and everything are done very well, and this is one of the best Marvel Legends figures, and it's done so well, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, I see, like, the Dark Phoenix that I passed on, because I already had a Dark Phoenix that I liked. My Dark Phoenix, specifically, is the one that came out of the 2-pack. I think it was a 2-pack, if I remember right. This is the Toys R Us pack that had, like, Cyclops and the Dark Phoenix. And I didn't want anybody else from this line. I kind of considered that Wolverine, but I also passed on him. So the only thing I wanted was Spiral. And then all of a sudden she was gone. And then all of a sudden she was on the aftermarket. And then all of a sudden people were asking like $100. And then all of a sudden I was like, nope. And I moved on with my life. Later, Well, after I figured I was just not going to get her, I stopped randomly in a GameStop. Why did I go to a GameStop? Because if you know me, you already know that a long time ago I put off GameStop, and I haven't really gone back very often. In fact, I didn't go into GameStop for almost 4 full years. Like, I had zero use for them. But last year, I happened to come across a GameStop. That's basically a toy store. So I went in. And that's the reason I go to that GameStop at all. I don't go to GameStops. It's not a thing. I basically swore off of them, like I said, 4 years ago. I did videos and everything about it, and I didn't go back for a very long time. I stopped going to GameStop basically at the very beginning of the pandemic, and I did not go back until 2024. And when I did go back, I went back only because I found one location that is a toy store. Like, that's what they do. Like, the entire middle area is all toys. And all the left side of the store is all toys. And the back side of the store is all toys. And there's like one wall on the right. And it's only the one wall. And it's got a couple of games. And they don't keep a lot in stock. I went to that one because I like figures. And I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. I'll go in and check it out. I go in and I start looking around, and I found all kinds of wild stuff in there that for some reason was still on the shelves, and she was included in that. And I said, what? And she was at retail price. MSRP. And I was like, what? That blew me away. So then, I kind of started looking at GameStop again. I said, what is going on? I found a Kingpin at GameStop after he was already all sold out and they hadn't run the second run yet. I found, like, when everybody else was able to get their hands on him, and now he basically, like, now he's like on clearance at different places. I found Spiral. I found all kinds of stuff at that GameStop that had been off the shelves and in resale market for literally like what felt like a year or more. And I said, this is wild. Then I went online and checked out the GameStops and saw there were all kinds of figures on there that were already, like, I was finding the same figures on GameStop that I was then going directly to eBay and finding the same figures, and on GameStop they were like, oh, I mean, it's a Marvel Legends, like, give us $24. And then over here, eBay was like, give us $80. Give us $120. It's very rare. And I'm like, okay, no, it's never going to happen. So, like, this kind of blew me away. And I had to buy her. So I did. Now, before it sounds like I've praised GameStop, I have recently discovered something from GameStop that puts me in a state of mind to not go back again, to not support them again. I can't change the way people think, and I can't affect the market realistically. My not going there means nothing in the long run if everybody else is still going there. Doesn't matter. And my opinion about them doesn't really change anything on any kind of scale that makes any kind of real impact. It's like when you tell McDonald's you're not coming back. They've lost a customer. They don't care. I'm not saying that their business isn't suffering, because we know that it is. But that's just saying that realistically, I'm not going to make any kind of real dent whether I go there or not. But I am saying that I started noticing something recently. They're jacking their toy prices up. And I don't mean that like that program, like where you get a card and then you become a loyal member or whatever, which I will not buy that card. I'm telling you that lately I've been watching their prices. And their prices before shipping and handling are like $10 more than what they're actually supposed to cost on multiple figures. And I started noticing this when I started seeing some of the same stuff go up on GameStop that was going up on Big Bad. And normally, Big Bad is one of those things where you'll find figures costing a little bit more than they actually cost. I think that's to kind of cover, you're paying for shipping and handling. Don't lie to yourself. You pay for shipping and handling. Regardless of what they lie to you and say. Oh yeah, we have a $4 shipping and handling rate. But then they also don't mention that like their figures are all about $5 more than they're supposed to cost. It's because you're paying for the shipping and handling. Companies are not paying that for you. There's no such thing as free shipping and handling. It doesn't exist. Don't lie to yourself. I know I have spent 20 years in logistics, basically. Like, I've been there a long time. Trust me, I know we don't pay for that. You do. We just find ways to make it look like a really good deal for you. But what I'm telling you is that I started realizing, looking at the GameStop prices, that even before their shipping and handling, some of their figures are like $10 above the mark. And I'm comparing them to other places, like Entertainment Earth, Big Bad, Hella Dope. That's a problem. One that has me thinking that I might be done with them again. No big loss. But I figured I would, because they were telling a story here about how I got a figure and how I discovered a GameStop. I didn't want you under the mistaken impression that I'm telling you, you should definitely frequent GameStops because you can get some good figures. Maybe you can, but keep in mind, they're still up to the same crappy business practices that have put them in the position that they're currently in to begin with. They're not your friend. They're not even a good business. But, Spiral. Let's do it. Boy, I miss that. I miss unboxing that way. Like there's something so cool about the retro cards where you put your finger under that and you just pull it open. And it's just done. It's done. You just open it. Like, boy, do I miss that. I don't like to have to like cut around the thing and then open it up and then like get the scissors out. I get real tired of grabbing these every single time I have a toy. It drives me crazy that I even have to keep that on my desk. But I do, because packaging is almost overzealous at this point. But here we are. Spiral. Now, what do I know about Spiral? I know that she's from Mojo World. I know she works directly for Mojo. I know that she's like an assassin. And I know that she has an ability to teleport. And that's about it. It's like it. I don't have a huge knowledge. She's one of those things in X-Men that, like, while I've seen her multiple times, I've never really taken the time to, like, get to know her or any of her story. The helmet is actually a part of the head. It doesn't come off, but she looks great. Like, she looks really good. Let's see. Every single one of these arms is crazy. Okay, so we got movement here. We got... I'm trying to figure out how much movement we actually have here. That's not crazy. Oh, wait. Oh, we got a lot more movement than I was originally realizing. Okay. Never mind. Now I see why everybody was impressed. That is a lot more movement than I thought I had. For a second there, I was about to be like, it almost feels like people think more of this than they probably should, but that was impressive. That is engineering right there. I am actually very impressed with that. And it's done very well, because what they did was they added the arm sockets towards the back, so they didn't try to stagger the arms like 1, 2, 3, but they kind of did like a triangle of placement, 1, 2, 3. That's really good. That's really well thought out. It works very well. There's a lot of different hands here. There's, of course, punching hand, gripping hand, gripping hand, gripping hand, but like this kind of hand. These all have up and down cuts as well, instead of in and out, which... This is one of those things that kind of drives me crazy with other figure lines. If you're going to give me swords, do this. I'm okay for the most part with the in and out, but the up and down, that's best for swords. And here we are with Marvel Legends, a line that is constantly called out for its reuse and its laziness, giving us a figure like this, and every single one of these hands is an up and down because she's gonna have swords. And then a line like, well, let's just say it, Motu Origins, still not giving us, at least to my knowledge, an up and down cutting hand. Why? With all the Motu that you have made, you can't provide one up and down hand? Like a cut hand that we can then give to He-Man figures and whatnot? What is happening there? Aside from you just don't want to do it. It can't be that expensive to craft the one hand and use it over and over and over again. Like, it can't be. And when Marvel Legends is the one that's calling you out on your laziness, look, I love Motu, you know that. But, don't... Mattel, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that allows me to use Marvel Legends to call you out. Okay? Don't do it. She is on the older buck in terms of the stiff body, but that's fine. That's fine. That doesn't bother me at all. Like, because this is an older figure. So we're not going to call that one out this time. We'll call it out on other figures. I'm sure there'll be plenty. This belt here, it's a separate piece. It's a floating piece. That's cool. Like, she's really cool, man. I like the hair. That's in fact, these would be really cool repurposed for like a Dazzler figure. Isn't there a really good Dazzler coming out soon? I can't remember. She's solid. Like, I know that I could go crazy and everything like that and show off everything there is to show off about her, but if I'm being perfectly honest, we know how my show works, and we know that we know that this figure has already been reviewed by everybody, and I'm not a review series when it comes right down to it. I just give my first impressions of how much I think certain thing is, like how cool it is. Let's pull that hand, because she did come with a grip hand here as well. And that is the one that I'm going to put this in. Whether it be right or wrong, that's what I'm going to do. And then this hand is where I'm going to put this. Whether it be right or wrong. And I'll mess with it, of course, as I put it on the shelf and play around with it. But, like, the fact that you can do this, and you could do an unreasonable amount of really cool poses with her. I have no doubt in my mind, because after playing around with the arms, I can feel that they have an awful lot of articulation. Like, that's an impressive figure. Also, she came with a expression hand that'll really probably never be used. But yeah, Spiral. That's a cool figure. I can't believe it took me this long to open her. That's a cool figure. Let me move this over here. And let me set up for the next one before I go back. Let me set this before we go to the chat. There. Okay. Yeah, I could see GameStop going the way of Toys R Us. Video games, game controllers, consoles, Walmart, Target have all this plus more. There's nothing that can justify GameStop's existence anymore. Driving can't vote. I very much get that. Found Spiral at Ross for $8 2 years ago. That's sick. That's completely awesome. Hey, man, how you been? Origins had a He-Man that did the up and down, I think, but I don't know why they haven't used it much. Yes, the 40th anniversary He-Man, I did cover that He-Man. He had the up and down slash hand, which is the best possible hand because he can actually hold the sword completely aloft. It adds for like, so like it doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you don't have that up and down hand, like say this guy's going to do a slash, right? Or say you do that thing where you point the sword at and you hold it at somebody, he can't do it. Now this is a fairly old figure body. Even on a modern Super 7, they're using figure bodies from like 2010, maybe. I gotta go further back than that, don't I? We're looking at like 2005 or something like that. It was like when these figure bodies were really a thing. But like, you can't do it, and you can't create like a thing where like, say I wanted him to go all the way across like this, and then bring the sword out and like extend it all the way out like this kind of a thing. You can't do that. It won't let you do that because of the hand. Like the in and out articulation is far less superior to up and down if you're going to have a figure that has slashing. Like, and I find that true. That's true of all figures, regardless of anything. The up and down is something they should be using, not the in and out for anything that comes with a sword. And in terms of the Motu stuff, you built a He-Man and gave him that hand. And then, like he's saying right here, then you did nothing with it. Why? Like, you had it. You made it. At that point, you should be giving it to every single... What's the one thing you want He-Man to do? Hold the sword aloft. Why is every He-Man holding the sword kind of up, but also kind of like this, and kind of like looking up at it? Like you can't quite get it, or he's just getting to the point of holding it up. There's only one He-Man that could do it. That's ridiculous. There's no reason for that. They should use that hand all the time, but they don't, and I don't see why. And I do find it to be a problem. Speaking of Motu, been looking for the Netflix Blu-ray. Haven't found it yet. I did. I pre-ordered that thing day one. Found a DC Finest Harley Quinn trade for $15. I don't think I know what that one is. I probably do. I might even own it. I don't know. I'd definitely pick her up if she ever gets the Gamerverse treatment, and we all know that they're hard at work on a second wave. And see, that's one of those things that almost worries me is, what other characters are about to come out? Because I have to say something, okay? I have to say it, and we have to worry right now. They just released a Masterverse. Sorry, they just released a Maximum Spider-Man and Maximum Hulk. Can you imagine the outrage if a Gamerverse 2-pack was a Spider-Man and Hulk? And they were arguably better than what you got in the Maximum series? Can you imagine the outrage that would exist if that happened? Did you see the Mecha TMNT on? Yes, I did. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those. Those are really cool, actually. Too much for my budget. I get it. I very much get it. Oh my. 4 votes. 4 minutes in. 4-way tie. This is going to be interesting. Wish they would use it on Masterverse figures more than they do. A friend of mine bought a Black Series Jedi Temple Guard for $10. I think I've seen those. I think those are pretty cool looking. DC Finest is basically Marvel Epic Collection. They go for like $40 or $50 or more. Time for Bill's choice. That's true. That's true. If we reach the time and it doesn't, hold on. Let me check. What are we sitting at? Currently, it says that we're looking at 5 current viewers, and if that's true, we have 4 votes, but we're at 5 minutes. If the Ghost Watcher doesn't cast a vote and break it, they might not. They could be the one that's driving, to be fair, because we were just told somebody's driving. They can't exactly just be playing on their phone. And good on them, by the way, if that's 100%. If you're just watching, you're hanging out in the background, you're cleaning the house, or you're driving somewhere or whatever, do what you're doing. Don't worry too much about getting in on these votes. The show will go forward one way or another. Like never put yourself in any kind of inconvenience. Certainly don't hurt yourself. But like, yeah, that's what we're going for right now. We're waiting a little while. We'll see if this doesn't break. Then I'm going to choose 4 figures that I have an interest in, and we'll be voting on them. That's the kind of the way I'm going to start handling ties. I've been saying we need a Bill's Choice option, and that's the way I think I'm going to do it. From now on, when we come across a tie, instead of like waiting it out and doing the tiebreaker, I'm just going to list 4 figures of choice and see what kind of happens. I also found Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 Blu-ray for $10. I've never seen it that low. It's usually way higher, so I snagged it. Yeah, movies and shows, it's kind of a roller coaster sometimes, because you never know exactly. Like, you never know what's going to like go way up in price and what's going to drop and what you're going to find at like a trade store or whatever that's basically like dirt cheap, and then turn around like a couple months later, and for some reason that one thing that like you thought for sure was going to be real easy to get your hands on now is like $100 set for no real reason. I have my Maximum Hulk. I'm satisfied with it. If they go and do a Game Reverse Hulk, it would have to be substantially better than it for me to bite the bullet. Same with Maximum Spider-Man. And I agree with you. I'm right there with you. They would have to blow my mind on it. But can you imagine the outrage that would be created? I mean, I'm talking the outrage that would be created from that. Because, like, I'm telling you, man, people would blow up. Like, it would not be okay. Get that water in here. I need water. I need constant water. I really do. Like, especially right now while I'm trying to get all my stuff back on track. I'm trying to get my eating habits back in order and like get my exercise and everything every day. I need to be at the idea of drinking like 5 or 6 bottles a day minimum. Mezco Hulk about to make Hulk look like a kid's toy. I don't know. I've seen it, if it's the one that I'm thinking, but like my thing with it is that Mezco runs small. Like, the Mezco Hulk 2025, if this is the one that I'm thinking of, the SDCC, I have a feeling, like, he looks really cool, but I'm curious how big he's really gonna be. Like, because when I bought the Superman, or sorry, when I saw the Superman, what made me pass on him was that he was small. And what hurts the Conan that we got from Mezco is that he's small. Like, all Mezco stuff runs small. And it makes me worry about some figures in general and how they come off when you buy them and they appear to be, like, tiny. Because some characters, if they seem small, they don't seem right. Like, are you going to buy, like, would you buy a Juggernaut that was just a little taller than Cyclops? Just a little taller. Like the Mezco size, where they're just a little bit smaller. You get my problem there? Hulk is one of those dudes that needs to be a big dude. And that's what worries me with the Mezco Hulk a little bit. I need to see it comparatively to something else to make any kind of determination on it. I ended up selling my Star Wars collection this past weekend, mostly books and a few reference books. Got 200 that went for bills. Gotta do it, man. Gotta do it. Gotta keep your stuff together. I 100% get it. Just an update, Bill. I got 8 of the TMNT Hello Kitty crossover McDonald figures toys. Good. Keep them going. Get them cats. Let's see. Also, never forget price. If Mezco Hulk is 200, 300, no way. Now, ooh, that's fair. Because Mezco prices are hardcore. You get what you pay for, but they're hardcore. And Frazetta Icons won. Awesome. And there actually is a poll for Frazetta Icons. Even though I have a feeling I know exactly where this is going. Bam! Mezco Slugfest is an oversized figure, and he's 105. So that's not terrible. Like, I mean, that's a lot of money. But what I'm saying is, for an oversized figure at the price that Mezco normally sits at anyway, it's not the worst thing ever. But you may still be asking people to pay $110 to $120 minimum to get a Hulk when they just cried about a $60 Hulk. That's, you get what I'm saying? Like, that could be, you might be asking some real questions on that one. That could be rough. Like, really, really rough. See, honestly, I wasn't sad to get rid of them. Let's just say the online Star Wars fan base is far worse than you can imagine. No, they're not. That's part of the reason. No, they're not. I have an entire video talking about that, Chris. Dude, I have an entire video discussing why I stepped away from Star Wars as a, how do I put this? I'm almost, like, people that come onto the show and they know I got Star Wars stuff here and there and whatnot, but I'm almost a closet fan at different points because, like, I don't care to talk about him. I don't care to argue about it. I don't care to have the debate. Like, about literally everything. In fact, just to give you crap because you're on the show, so I'm going to give you a little crap. I've argued with you at a point that has irritated me before. Not that I've ever held grudges. I'm sitting here talking to you right now because I'm not that kind of person. We will argue and then we will go away and then we'll come back and hang out. That's not the kind of life that I live. I don't need to hang on to nothing. But, like, that's the way that it is. The Star Wars community has rabid opinions compared to any other community I've ever been a part of. It's unreal. And I have Star Wars videos that specifically talk about that issue. Like, I have two. One that specifically is how I view canon, and another one that specifically says, like, am I done, or something like that. Let me check real quick. If I can't find it very quickly, I'm not going to worry about it. But if I can find it real quick, I'll give it to you. You can watch it later, just to see how I'm right there with you, man. I'm 100% right there with you. And I'm going to save this because I see there's a top 10 Superman action figures, and I'm going to watch that later. But for right now, we'll get back to what I was actually about to do. So let's see if that brings up the result. That's the collection video. That's the best of the stream video. And this, I think it's right here. I think this is what I am talking about. So I will post this in here. There, you can check that out later. If I'm not mistaken, that's the video I'm thinking about, where I specifically talk about the Star Wars fandom, how it has currently affected me, and how I really don't care to deal with it anymore, and why I outed and got rid of a lot of my collection as well. Because I got rid of a lot of my collection, like a ridiculous amount of my collection. We currently have 7 viewers, as far as YouTube seems to be concerned. And we have 5 votes, and Conan is winning. We have 2 possible votes still sitting in the background, so we're still going to give it some time. And we have... right now we have 60%, 40%, Conan taking the lead right now, and we'll give that till the 10-minute mark, unless I feel that we've kind of made the point. Bill, did you get to see the 90s TMNT in theaters? Beings that you just asked me that, I'm going to say I missed it. That sucks. I did get to see the Red Sonja. I did get to see a couple of other films though recently. I got to see The Big Lebowski in theaters again, and I also got to see Back to the Future in theaters again. There's a theater here that plays like a bunch of old movies. It's really, really cool. But yeah, being the fact that you just asked me that, I'm gonna say no. I didn't get to see it. I didn't realize it. Kind of sucks, but then again, here's hoping that my theater that shows old movies will show it. Or maybe there's another showtime and I can find something else. I doubt it. I probably missed it, but oh well. Also, that's not even a large or big licensed character. Hulk is worlds different from Slugfest, in my opinion. That's true, too, because when you talk about, like, licenses and stuff like that, it's going to cost more to create a Hulk, more than likely in terms of a license agreement, than it would. I'm still not saying one way or another, but yeah, I am saying that you're probably looking at like $110, $120 and asking people to spend that when they had a real problem with 60. Pretty massive quality jump from Legends to Mezco. That money gets spent on quality and accessories. It's expensive, but the product is great. I won't argue that. I'll agree with that. I think you pay for what you get, but I think that most people is sitting inside of any kind of common household budget. That's a big ask. Like a really big one. Especially people that are very used to paying Marvel Legends prices. Watching them freak out about the increase in Marvel Legends prices makes me feel like the Mezco isn't going to move off the shelves. I might have a rabid opinion here and there, but what I'm talking about is far worse than having. No, I'm just telling you. I'm not, like I said, and that's exactly why. It's because look, this is already happening, and we're just discussing the idea that the fan base is a problem. This is why I don't even talk Star Wars anymore, because you can't. It's ridiculous. Mezco's Spider-Man cost exactly the same as any other Mezco license are Hasbro exclusives. No, license are everything. That's not a true statement. I'm not saying Hasbro doesn't jerk up their prices to cover the licensing cost, but licenses, you can't make a figure without a license unless you're a third-party company stealing. That's not a fair statement. Licenses are for everything produced, period. Likeness license, product license, Marvel, it doesn't matter. License is a license is a license. And you have to have a license to produce a product. I can't make a Marvel toy. I have to get a license. So that's not the same argument. You still have a couple days left to see it in theaters. Well, I didn't know that. That has me... dude, I'm telling you, Ninja Turtles is literally my favorite comic book movie of all time. It doesn't even compare. Let's look at this. I'm seeing some... I have a lot of these AMCs in my area. Yeah, this would be... because this would be so cool, man. Let me look at this. Let me... there. Looks like it is going to show at 4 different theaters in my area, which is really cool. So I'm going to just check this one real quick. I don't know. This might be something I have to look for later, because that didn't seem to give me any results for some reason. Oh, well, nope. I may have found it. But I need to change my date to like tomorrow and see what kind of... Nope, no showtimes, no trailers. No just... Oh, may have found one. Can't go to that one. Might be able to go to this one. So I have an AMC Classic in the area, and I could probably get to that one at the time that I'm seeing here. I'll check it out. Like, it would be really cool to see this again, because, like, dude, I'm telling you, that Turtles movie, to me, is one of the greatest comic book movies, if not the straight-up greatest comic book movie ever made, and I think Conan has won this, because we're at 9 minutes, and the vote has not changed, so we're going to call it and give it to Conan. Let's see. can't simply discuss the new material, whether it's a show or third-party material. No, you can't discuss any of it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. That's exactly what I mean. It's not just the new material. This has been happening since the prequels, and it has never not happened with any Star Wars item, book, toy, anything. Anything. Every video game is high scrutiny. Every show is high scrutiny. Every movie is high scrutiny. You can't like anything. Star Wars is the most toxic fan base I have ever been a part of in my entire life, to the point where it actually makes me ashamed to be interested in the product from time to time. It is one of the worst fan bases I have ever been a part of. Sorry, boss. I understand everyone pays for the license, but I also understand only Hasbro seems to pass that fee off to the paying customers. They sure as shit do. They sure as shit do. Not NECA, not Mafex, not Mezco. Right. They really do, man. The scene where Shredder comes walking out with the music theater is amazing. I'll bet it is, too. I'll bet it really is. Screw you all, Andor's great. Fight me. Dude, I've heard that. I've heard that is fantastic. I've heard that's a really good show. There is some stuff I'm interested to see. I'm just really slow about getting to certain things. Because, look, my priority is Star Trek. It's just the way that it is. Star Trek has been a constant in my life since I was literally a baby. And right now, there's a lot of new Star Trek. There's still some stuff I haven't seen, and that's not a thing for me. So I'm in the middle of Season 5 of Discovery. I need to see Section 13, and I need to keep up with the current Strange New Worlds, and then I will have once again seen everything there is to see. And that's the way I like to be with my Star Trek. Arrow Videos putting out a TMNT. Yeah, we talked about that. That's going to be good. Yeah, everything but... That's trash. A new He-Man game putting out. Yeah, I saw that. That new He-Man is going to be awesome. Real simple game, and that's all it needs to be. Just give me a couple He-Man characters and let me side-scroll and beat them up. Look, man, that's my era. That's where I come from. You want to give me a side-scrolling beat 'em up? Make it Turtles. Make it Rangers. Make it Double Dragon. Make it random angry guys on the streets. Make it He-Man. Like, I'm in. I'm 100% game. I'm ready for it. Isn't that the one where they use the action figures? I'm not sure what you're asking, to be fair. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's get this one. This one I've been waiting for. Of course. Conan. Frazetta Icons. Conan the Barbarian. Here it is. Yes. First off, this is Frank Frazetta, Conan. Let's get that out in the open before we talk about anything else. Frank Frazetta Conan is different than comic book Conan. He's different than book Conan, necessarily. I realize that is the way that he drew a lot of the covers for the books, but that's not the argument I'm making. This Conan is meant to be the Conan from Frank Frazetta artwork specifically. Just like Vampirella was Vampirella from Frank Frazetta artwork. And this is an iconic Conan. I'm not saying that nobody's ever drawn him better. I'm saying that right there, that makes you feel the Conan, right? Guys, everything about this, I'm hoping, is fantastic. I have very high hopes for what we're about to open. And looking at just this alone, some of the artwork or some of the photography that I've seen people doing with this Conan, because it's unavoidable. It's getting posted all over Instagram and whatnot. And by the way, not that I usually drop anything like this, but if you're not signed up to my Instagram or whatever, it might be a good idea to do so, because we're not too far away from giving him away. It's probably going to be towards the end of the month that the giveaway is going to happen. It's going to be happening on Instagram. But guys, I've talked about Conan on this channel a lot. I've told you how much I like him. I've told you what he means to me. I've told you how it feels. I've told you how, like, he might be my favorite comic book I've ever read. He might be one of my favorite books that I've ever read. I say one of them because books are pretty vast. He might be one of my favorite things ever. Like, there is something about Conan that grips and never lets go. The deeper you get into it, the more you understand it, the more it resonates with you. Like, I think it's a disservice to view Conan as this muscle-bound grotesque, because he's not. And I don't know yet, but this body might be right. Conan's big, but Conan is often described like a panther. He is large muscle that can move quickly. He's been known to be able to draw his sword and end somebody in the instant before they can bring their sword fully down. That's fast. That's like anime samurai fast. He's been known to sneak and go across plane and whatnot without being noticed. He's a big dude, but he's like a panther. His muscle is built, it's compact, it's strong. He's a big dude with big thews, but if you mistake him for being a large, slow man, you're dead. You're dead before you even realize what happened. He's also not stupid. You're talking about a tactician here. You're talking about a man that was a thief. You're talking about a man that was a pirate. You're talking about a man that was a mercenary. You're talking about a man that was a straight sellsword. You're talking about a man that survived in the desert. Okay? He survived in the desert as the leader of an entire group of basically brigands. Like, you're talking about a man who fought his way to usurp the throne of Aquilonia, and then didn't just take a kingdom and become a tyrant, but became one of the greatest kings in its history. And he defended that throne multiple times. And not just because there were smarter guys around him that were able to tell him, okay, in order to do this, we're going to have to do some strategy now. No, you're talking about a man that knew strategy, that was smart, that understood how it worked, that saw life, that understood that there was both a greater thing above us, evil. There was evil that we could not understand in this world. There was magic that we could not understand in this world. There were superstitions that, while he had often broke many of them himself, he still knew that he didn't know enough to single out everything that was possible. Like, that's a part of intelligence that's kind of hard to reach, even in today. There's so many people that think they know so much that they know everything, and you can't teach them anything. That's not Conan. You're talking about a man that enjoyed the simple pleasures of going into the bar, having a couple drinks, and listening to the music. Not just running in and having a bar fight. Conan is massively misunderstood. I honestly believe that. He's often, one of the easiest things I can compare, and I'm not saying these two people are the same thing. I'm saying this is an easy comparison. The public persona of Conan is muscle-bound grotesque, big, dumb barbarian man. Oftentimes when you see people playing barbarians in things like D&D, they're a big, dumb guy. That's not what Conan is. Conan is intelligent enough to know what he knows and know what he doesn't know, and know when he needs advice from somebody else, or so on and so forth. That's a different kind of skill. Just like, but the public persona doesn't see that. Just like with Captain Kirk has looked at this womanizer doing it with green alien women or whatever. That's not Captain Kirk. Watch Star Trek. Watch it. Like with your eyeballs and your ear holes. Watch it that way and understand that character. He is not what the public perception has created. That's a very, very different character. Very different. He is not that guy. What they did in the new movies with Captain Kirk, I wouldn't even say he's accurate necessarily. I get that he lived a different life, so you're looking at a different character, but that's what I'm saying, is the public perception affects things like this. And I think it's important every now and then to step back and realize one of the reasons it's had the effect on me that it has is because I've had time to view Conan, to read Conan, to know this material, and know that it's so much more than people make it. Inside right here, we got this really cool Frazetta card. This is just neat. It doesn't really necessarily tell us anything too crazy. It says we recommend applying gentle heat hairdryer to the tight joints before posing. This is especially helpful with colder environments, things of that nature. Carefully ease each joint into motion. Never force it. Simple step helps to prevent damage to ensure long-term posability. It's just like a little thing. They're telling you right off the bat, look, man, you paid real money for this figure, and we don't want to see you demolish it. I got to appreciate that for what it is. I really do. Because, like, how many times, I apologize, how many times have you bought something from one of these and it does break, or the leg pops or something like that? I see it all the time. In fact, crazy enough, now that I think about it, it happened to me with Tigra. It didn't happen with the second Tigra, but it happened with the first Tigra. And it's something that I did a couple of videos on that because that really killed me. I was not happy about that. Well, let's unbox him. Let's see him. That was remarkably easy. So, before we even get into it, I'm going to cover that part up. That's the Conan we're looking at. That is Frank Frazetta Conan. This is the figure that we just bought. So it's not comic Conan, okay? And it's not even necessarily book Conan, even though he did a lot of covers. This is a little more like the comic book. I mean, it's not perfectly accurate or anything, but you get the idea that we're looking at different things here. That's like one of these arguments that I've made about things like when they see the Red Sonjas and whatnot, and people immediately go, oh, that's not what she's supposed to look like. There have been many artists over many times, over a ridiculous amount of eras, for what it's worth, that have drawn these characters. It is a character that has existed since the 30s. So, like, he's gone through changes and he's had different interpretations. The real kicker here is, does he feel right? And we're going to start determining that now. First off, he comes with this. That's a good axe, to be fair. I like this one-handed, just cleaving death machine. We have this fantasy battle axe with the dual sides. That's cool. That's hard, man. We have this shield right here, which I've already heard from a couple of people that sent me messages and warned me, be careful with the shield. Evidently, if you force this too much, not all of these were perfect, and a couple of the shields, this pops off, like the straps. If you force it, and this is too hard, or it wasn't applied perfectly, I've heard a lot of people that did not have a problem, but I've heard a couple people that did, so we're going to be careful about the shield when we play with it regardless. Just because I have heard stuff, so we're going to watch out for it, okay? The figure right now has open hands. He does come with expression hands. He does come with gripping hands and slicing hands. These are slicing hands. They are up and down hands, not in and out joints. That's good. That's fantastic. We also have punch hands for punching, which, Conan has been known to do. We have a really cool knife. One that I believe actually... Does this come out? It does. And because the paint is done the way it's done, it's kind of rough. It's silver, but it's kind of a rough, tarnishy look. I imagine that's done on purpose so that when we sheath it and we unsheath it over time, even if we kind of meld away some of it a little bit, it probably won't hurt the overall design. And it looks like there's the hook on here, probably that it can go on his belt. I doubt that it goes down by his boot, probably goes on his belt. That's pretty cool. We also have this arm brace right here that will go onto the figure. He comes with this sword right here. It's got a curve. I've heard people complain about this sword, saying that they would have preferred that this sword be a straight sword because Conan is known for having a straight sword. So here's my retort, and it's not like a huge one, but it is a bit of a retort. And this is the actual real chain that we'll use to hang it on the belt if we choose to do so. Here's my retort to the straight sword issue. Conan uses the weapons available to him at any given time, even if they're yours. They're not yours once he gets a hold of you. So, an assortment of weapons makes sense, and I don't hate any of these. Would I have preferred a straight blade sword? If we are being perfectly honest, yes, that's fair. But I have read many, many books and seen many, many artist depictions from comic books and artwork where he specifically uses scimitar-like blades. So it does not feel inaccurate to me to give him a curved sword. The curved blade does work for me just as much as the straight blade. So that's not something that's going to really affect me. It's not going to hurt my feelings in any way. I'm fine with it. We have the other hair right here, which is the helmet, which I've heard some people talk about the helmet. This helmet is accurate to the artwork that Frank Frazetta did. This is the helmet. This looks right. You're looking right there. That's it. I mean, as far as I am concerned, this is accurate. This is a good sell on me anyway. We have a face, an angry face. which I would argue could have been a little bit better had it actually been a screaming face. Right now we just have an angry face. A screaming face probably would have been very Conan the Barbarian as well, but I do not hate it. I think a serious face works good. So, we have covered everything that comes with Conan. Let's see Conan. Here he is, guys. This is the new Frazetta Icons Conan the Barbarian. And some of these issues that I was talking about is right here perfect. The public perception of Conan the Barbarian. These old figures are how people see Conan. Look at this. Look at this man. Like, look at this body cavity here. That is like how people see He-Man. Okay? He-Man is this ridiculously muscled figure. He's so unbelievably huge that he probably can't put his arms down. Like he's so buff. It's unnatural. And people prefer their He-Man to look that way. I don't. When the Masterverse line opened up and started producing figures, a lot of my early videos when I talk about Masterverse, I liked the body designs of the early figures because I felt they were closer to real muscle people. Not like overblown muscle people. Not that these bodies don't necessarily exist, but like they don't exist for combat purposes, ever. This feels much more right. It looks more real to me. He's big, but there is a slenderness to him and a realness to the muscle in general that makes me feel like this is just so much better than the overblown, huge, ridiculous proportions that we get with a guy like this. I am curious about their size. This Conan is a... Well, hold on. They're about the exact same size. You could put these Conans together if you really wanted. Wonder Woman's probably bigger than you, isn't she? Could you argue that that makes sense? Could you argue that since she's an Amazon, does that make sense? I don't know. I just wanted to see, to be fair. I wanted to see how she looked. One character that I didn't even think about, maybe I'll have to go get her, or I'll have to do a short because I don't have her over here. Or do I? No, I do not have my Red Sonja anywhere around here. I think they've both made their way back to the main shelves. But this right here, this is really supposed to be around the bicep. I don't know if I can angle this, if it's a rubber material. It feels kind of like a rubber material. I don't know if I can get it. I'm going to try. I hope I don't pop this. No, it's fine. It worked. Yeah, I had to force it up there to get it to go, but that's really supposed to be around the bicep. So that's kind of cool. I'm being very careful because I'm not about to break this Conan. But he feels good. That's something to point out. That feels good. It did not feel tight. It did not feel like it was giving me any problems whatsoever. But we have a T-pose into that area. The arm goes up very easily. I'm experiencing no real problems there. The arm goes up very easily. We're experiencing no real problems there. We're going to turn that there so we get this full grip here. That is the level of bend that we are going to get from this Conan. He's got that big muscle. His arm does stop. He only gets the 90-degree angle. I prefer dual joints. I prefer it. Because as a person, my arms don't stop here. And even the buff guys that I know, I work with a couple of them, they can do this too. So when figures come out and they can't, it does bother me a little bit. I am willing to let it go because it looks like I've got a decent amount of movement. This is the extent of it, to be fair. But I think that I'm going to be able to make it work. And from the posing and whatnot that I've already seen online from other people, it should not be a problem. But it is something to bring up. If that's an issue for you, it's something to keep in mind. We have decent amount of movement up in here. Like we got him, that's him down, that's back. His head isn't really going to look up right now because his hair is on. But he will look down. His hair comes off. That's how we swap. That's how we swap to different features. So you can have the helmet with the angry face or whatever, or you can have the helmet with this more just stoic face, and it won't cause anything. It won't be an issue for you. The Conan that we're going for down here is very much, they kind of used this design for Conan the Barbarian with Arnold. That's all very accurate to me. It looks like this pushes up. This is like an overhanging piece, so it's a floating piece, which means this could probably come off and you could basically have a naked bare buns Conan. Yes, he has Conan cheeks. He has Conan cheeks. So that's a thing. This hook right here is for the sword, and then as far as I am understanding, the other one, because I've heard a lot of people have had trouble with this, is that this kind of goes there, and then the other part of it, from what I understand, is where people are having trouble, because it's really supposed to like kind of go up and go around or whatever this and kind of hang, or go onto the belt and kind of hang, like right there. And I've heard a couple people having troubles with this. So what I saw online, because I'm actually having a little bit of trouble with it right now. Come on, come off of there. There. I've seen people go into here and go up into here, and I saw somebody that took like a little pin and they heated up a pin and they pushed it through, and then they hooked the sword onto that, and it looked like it was a good idea. I'll kind of look at it and kind of figure out what I want to do, or I'll kind of look at how other people have figured out how to do theirs. I'm sure that it's not going to be that big of a problem once I get into it, in all honesty. His legs, being careful here, a lot of movement here. We got a lot of movement here. But the more we lift the legs up like that, the more it's going to lift the loincloth, because it hangs. So be aware of that if you're doing any kind of posing or anything like that. And then for the first time in this line, they got the dual knee. That, to me, is better than the 90 degree. What we got with like Dark Wolf, where his knees stopped right here, that doesn't feel accurate to me. That feels like a person. A person can do this. You can lift your foot and pull it up. Okay, so very good on the knees. Now, if we could just get these arms, okay? We could just get these arms. If you could just get the full, because this is a step in the right direction. I've enjoyed watching this line grow, because I have all of it. Like there's not a Frazetta icon I don't have, and that may change very soon. I am arguing with myself as to how I feel about John Carter of Mars. I kind of want it. But at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of John Carter of Mars. Like, I like it, but I don't know. You're talking about $90 figures. When you're talking about $90 figures, every little bit matters, including how much we like the material. So I don't know how I feel about it yet, because that's the next one coming out. I think the next one coming out is John Carter of Mars, And then from there, I think we go to Necron. Or we go from Necron and then John Carter of Mars. I'm not 100% sure. And I know there's another Conan coming out soon. It's going to scale alongside this and work with interchangeable parts, or at least that's what we were told, but it's not going to be part of this line. It's from a different company. So there's another Conan coming out that's going to be based on the current run of comic books, the Blackstone series stuff. That could be cool. In fact, who am I kidding? I want that. So yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking with a lot of that. Do I want Necron? Of course. Do I want John Carter? I don't know. If I don't get him, he will be the first and only piece from all of Frazetta Icons that I do not own. And Frazetta Icons, like I said, have done nothing but get better and better and better. I'm glad we waited for Conan. I'm serious about that. Because he feels like the best thing they have released so far. That's amazing. He really does feel like the best figure they have released. I mean, we've got the necklace and everything. This is amazing. I'm going to cover it up again. But, like, even if you look, that's the sword. So we're not, that's the sword and that's the knife. It's cool that this background, I'm going to use this background. I also put the background for my, when they released the Vampirella, I put the background over there as well. And I'm very curious. I'm very curious. I really am wondering if they will release a Red Sonja. And if they're allowed to do so. Currently what they are doing is they're releasing figures that go along the lines of Frank Frazetta artwork. To my knowledge, Frank never directly drew Red Sonja on anything. I think there's a painting that is roughly referenced like Red Sonja. And I don't know realistically, it might be a retroactive thing. Like it's not actually Red Sonja, but now people kind of call it that. That's what I mean. Like history has kind of changed. I don't know that he actually ever drew her. Ever. And if he has no painting of her realistically, then I don't know what they would base a work from. And as of yet, Frazetta Icons has not stepped outside of Frazetta artwork. Yet. One could argue if they make a Red Sonja and they do the full bikini everything, they would have to step outside of the paintings and they'd have to step into comic book territory, and then they would be making what they believe he would have drawn her like. And that gets questionable. I don't know. I would be very interested to see them release a Red Sonja, because seeing from him, this is the best buck we've had, the best design we've got. He looks fantastic. He's done very, 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 very well. The best one of the entire line right now, without question. Does that mean that they're Red Sonja, being the third female in the line, if they get that far, would she be unbelievable? Will we get Deja? Is her name Daja? I've never heard it pronounced. I've only read it. So let's take the hair off. Last thing here. When you pull the hair off, you get Bald Conan. And Bald Conan likes to put a hat on. That's how all these work. If you're talking about Dark Wolf, he had like chin plates. That's the way he worked. But most of the others in the line Tigra and characters of that nature, they had a couple of heads, and you would, this is exactly how they worked. You took that off, and then you placed that on. And then that's how you kind of did that. And you got to line it back up and everything, make sure you got it right when you put it on. There. Very cool. Like, very, very cool. I dropped it again. I'm having a little trouble with the hair. Let me figure out how this lines up exactly. There, I think I've got it. Found it. Took me a second. That's another reason I like to do these live the way that I do, is because it takes a while for me to, like, how do I put this? I like these being as live as they are because I like these to be first impressions with real figures. Like, with a review, somebody's already had a couple hours with something. They've already been able to point out flaws and tell you what they think and blah, 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 and they got a much more in-depth thing. I very much like this first impression, first ideas. If I see problems right away, they're probably big problems. If I don't see the problems, I haven't had time to nitpick yet. How's it make me feel? Why does it work? Is it good? Things of that nature. What does it bring to mind? First things. What parts am I finding difficult when I swap things out or I try to put something on? I think this is all important stuff. And I think that you lose that in reviews because they've already had time with it. They're already playing with it. This is a fantastic Conan. I already know that he scales very, very well next to Loose Collector Red Sonja. So if you have a Loose Collector Red Sonja or you want one, and you've got this Conan and you want a Red Sonja, she scales remarkably well to him. I don't know in terms of the Epic Hacks Red Sonja. I will probably do a short later on in order to kind of look at that. But that's what I've got right now. Well, just for the sake of, because I'm not mistaken, just for the sake of, let's see. Oh, turn that. Okay, I see what people are talking about. The shield. And maybe this is a different argument altogether. Maybe I should do this. Get the hand under it. Okay. The shield is going to be a bit of a problem. So before we get out of here, careful with the shield. I'm going to heat this up before I do anything with it. I am not about to even test the water of screwing something up that is, one, a Conan figure, and two, cost $90, and three, is becoming already difficult to find. It is sold out on many different places. I'm not saying you can't find one. I'm saying a lot of places are sold out. And I would rather not take the chance of having something bust. I wouldn't want that. I don't need to test out swords and everything else. This is a fantastic figure. To me, well worth it. Easily better than the Super 7 Conan. Easily. And I would argue this is hard to determine, but because of his size, and I know that sounds like I'm being very particular, and I am. Because of his size, I kind of prefer him to the Mezco. Currently. I have not set them side by side or taken them through their paces, so that opinion could very well change. But at first glance, I do like him to be this size. I like him to be bigger, and I like him to be alongside the other figures that are about this size, and I think that he'll work well with all my other barbarian stuff. Now that could change as I pick up different characters from different lines and different sizes and things of that nature. We'll see. But for right now, that figure is fantastic. Not disappointed at all. Let's run some things here, and then I'm going to get out of here for the night. So, I didn't know there was a Lady Death game, so you got me on that one. I'm picky with my games these days since companies want to go digital. It doesn't bother me the way that it does you. My thing with digital, the reason that I've changed the way that I have is because I have noticed, and we're going to keep this in mind. Look, guys, I'm 41. I have about, realistically, maybe 500 video games. Like a solid collection, 500 plus. And if I'm being perfectly honest about it, I have everything I ever want. Very few games do I ever play nowadays in my 40s where I play the game and go, this is an instant classic, I need it. I need to know that I can play this 20 years from now. My comfort games, the games that I play over and over and over again, like Shining Force, like some of my Final Fantasies, I own them. I have them. I've got them. And most of the games that I play today that I get digitally, and people are like, at some point that market's going to go down. I'm not arguing with you. I think you're right. But my thing is, I found it at this point, like, I'm like, I want to play that game. And then I download it, and then I play it, and then it's on my system for maybe 2-3 years. And then I'm going to move on to another game that comes out. And my comfort games, the ones I'm going to go back to, Illusion of Gaia, things of that nature, I already own them. So, like, I 100% get the argument of physical. But the games that I want, the games that I've cared about, the games that I will play over and over and over again, I already have them. I have Turtles in Time. I have so many other games that I go back to on a regular basis. And most games released today, I'm going to beat them and I'm going to move on with my life. So it doesn't bother me. I still buy some physicals, depending on what they are. Like if they come out and I'm like, oh crap, that, because I mean we just talked about it. Like I bought that, you know, like I own that Tomb Raider game. We talked about that not way too long ago. I would like a physical copy of the Legendary Collection for Mass Effect, because like I love all three of those games. I'm not one of those guys that's mad that all paths led to the ending. All paths led to the ending. I don't care. What they accomplished with those three games is phenomenal. And I'm not mad about the fact that the color of the explosion changes or whatever at the end of the game. That's a minor detail for me. We all reached the same end point, but we all got there differently, and the experience is what matters, and we all got that ending, and we all moved on with our lives. And so what that my explosion was blue and yours was green and someone's was red or whatever, who cares? I'm not particular. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. But like those three games released on a single disc, like that would be really cool. I would like to own that. But let us also be honest about it. They're just going to release that again. I can get it at almost any time, realistically. I'll have another chance. So, like, my attitude towards it has changed dramatically. We need an open world TMNT game. Last Ronin would be cool, or even an open world Conan game. There's a couple of games that are, so there's a Conan MMO that's actually pretty good. It's old, but it's pretty good. And there's a survival game, like a crafting game called Exiles, that's pretty good. Exiles is like a sandbox open world survival game, and the MMO, I like it. But I'm a Conan person, so maybe that's an argument to be had. But I think it's just old enough, but with the slight edge of like real-time combat that like keeps me just interested enough, but doesn't make me have to play it like a fighting game, that I actually enjoy it quite a bit. Watched the new Superman last night. Instantly loved it. Loved the writing, the story, the characters. Me too, man. Super excited to see Supergirl. Gonna be lit. What's your opinion on it not beating Man of Steel? Give it time. Man of Steel has been around for a long time. I'm not concerned. I promise you, this Superman will outlive the Man of Steel. I feel that way. There is no way this second movie is not going to have people in seats. Man of Steel didn't get a second movie. He didn't. You had to add Batman to keep him going. This Superman will not need Batman to continue going. He won't need it. I'm telling you, outright, right now. Promises. Guaranteed. Supergirl is going to have some competition. It comes around the same time as the new Spider-Man movie. That will be rough. Going to be an uphill battle. Let's see. Dude, that is unbelievable casting. And yes, I have heard that Lobo's going to be in it, and that it's going to be Jason Momoa. As he should, man, was born to play the main man. He so was, man. Spider-Man having Hulk, and I don't see the two superhero movies can't coexist, but I get where you're coming at, that this is going to be a battle. Spidey can't compete with the main man. I think you're wrong. I'm sorry, but Spider-Man in bad movies does well. Jason Momoa puts Superman. Dude, it's going to be so cool. He's got to be riding his Space Hog. Absolutely. Marvel's definitely trying to keep DC down, releasing movies around the same time. And that's what I said. Earlier we were talking about how DC is going to have some problems coming soon. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I've been talking about, is that Marvel is going to have to play ball hard at this point, because what Superman has started in the way that they're handling their universe is going to be real hard for Marvel to play against. Yes, you do. I liked it. I have no doubt Spider-Man B&D would be great. It's just got a lot going on in it. So many characters and villains, which could be a problem unless they're literally learning from what DC just did. Marvel kind of runs into the problem of releasing films like an assembly line. Yes, I agree. It's too hard to keep up with, and you end up giving up and just leaving everything behind. The only problem I see with Supergirl is the average person doesn't know who Lobo is at all. More average person knows Spider-Man. Yeah, exactly. Clayface film is going to be interesting. It's described as an R-rated horror movie. I need to see it. I mean, I don't know how to explain this. It's very easy to mess up something like that. They should do what some did before. Anyone who goes to the theater watching Supergirl gets free issue of Lobo comic. That would be neat, but it would be surprising. Market for Supergirl has to be top-notch to even come close to the Spider-Man sales. Yeah, it will. It's going to be a tough battle. Best Conan figure out there. I don't know that I'm disagreeing with you. I think I'm right there with you, man. This Conan is crazy good. It's got over a year of post-production. The VFX are going to be fire. We'll see. We'll see. Visual effects are hit and miss. Like, I've seen movies that get a lot of time and then somehow do terrible. And then, I mean, we'll see. Depends on the passion of the people you have working on it. Supergirl movie has to be way better than the Superman movie. I don't know. I don't think it has to be way better. Conan. I'm from a dark and bleak world. You, Wonder Woman, is from a colorful world of superheroes and God. And gods. We are not the same. No, absolutely. Gods and aliens. Yeah. So, Bill, a friend of mine is wondering your opinion. What's your thoughts on the toy community? I've actually given that entire... I've talked about that. I don't remember exactly what video it was. Oh, I actually think... Hold on. Because this is not something that I'm going to like sit here and answer all out when I've already done it. But I actually think that I have covered this. Crap. Let's try. There it is. I knew it. I have a toy community video. Because this question has come up a couple of times, actually. So I've already had to answer this a couple of times before, so that right there, that's everything I had to say on it, is that there is a toxic figure community. It does exist, but it is nowhere near on par with others that I have seen, and if you watch that video specifically, you'll know what I think about it. You'll see. I'm not going to go into the whole thing right now. I don't have the time. Avengers Secret War is said to reboot the MCU, so Iron Man recast will be hard. It will be, but them maintaining the same actors for so long kind of wrote them into a corner, too. There are some absolutely incredible people in the toy community. Nice and friendly collectors, and then you have the loudest voices in the room. The ones that nitpick everything. And that's true. That's absolutely true. It's true of so many different concepts. And look, there's no way around it. You're going to come across toxicity in almost any community. But I do think there's something different to the way that the toy community works and the collection community at large. And I think it's because of the nature of the thing that we do that allows us to interact with the toy community differently than we interact with other communities, like gaming communities and so on and so forth. I really do. I think there's a difference. Check that video out. I'm telling you, it really... I've talked a lot about this, and my best condensed thoughts are in the video that I posted just now. But I'm going to get out of here. This is at the end of it. We didn't do too much today, but we got through Spiral, we got through Wonder Woman, we got through Conan, and I will, of course, break these into chapters and whatnot. I am working on that. I'm trying to get these chapter videos edited and put out. It's taking me a lot longer than it normally takes me, but I'm working on it. But there's also a couple of other videos that I'm thinking about doing, but I don't know how they would work on this channel. But we'll discuss that probably later, because I had like a Dragon Ball Z video that I wanted to do. But realistically, because I basically focus on toys and whatnot, it really doesn't have a place on this channel. I'll figure out what I want to do with that, but we'll talk about it later when it comes up. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out. I do got to get out of here. I got to get my stuff together and whatnot. I got work in the morning, early morning, and so on and so forth. But we should be back next Wednesday, and I will try to get some of these other things put out. And of course, if something news or something like that catches my attention, I'll make videos before that Wednesday and put them out. But that's it. That's what I got. We're done. We did it. We did it. Keep your eye out for this guy. If you haven't joined my Instagram, it's probably a good idea to do so, because if you're following me or whatever, it's probably going to be towards the end of this month. I'm probably going to post a picture of him with a couple of things like, hey, talk to me or whatever, you know, tell me what you like or don't like about the show, how you found me, whatever, something of that nature, just so I can get a beat on how things are going. And then whoever ends up with, somebody will be picked at random. And then I'll, of course, DM that person. And somebody's going to get Herbie sent to them. Because I have an extra Herbie. He's already packed. He's boxed. He's wrapped. He's ready. So I've already got him ready. I think he's going to be sent out towards the end of the month. So if you're not on there, be on there, because that's where I'm going to do it. That's where I'm going to do the giveaway, I think, because it makes the most sense. Because that's kind of where that's where I talk to the Toy Network guys and everything. So it's probably my biggest line community. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really focus on it. I'm on Facebook, but I don't really focus on it. I really don't focus on any social media well enough. I need to kind of fix that, if I'm being honest. I kind of need a social media that I can go into so that I can talk to people and everything. But I've never really been too hardcore about it. We'll figure it out. That's where I think I'm going to do this one, though. And then if this one goes over well, we'll probably look into doing this for other figures and things of that nature, too, as we come across things that come off the shelf. Like, I'm about to add a new brown suit Wolverine, so the old one will come off the shelf. I thought about selling him, but maybe it'd be cool to do normal giveaways with the stuff that comes off the shelf. Anyways, we'll talk later on. Thanks for hanging out. Come by next Wednesday, and I'll do shorts and whatnot as we come across new figures added to the stockpile and whatnot. I'm gonna get out of here.